Hey, welcome back to Yehusha's Glory. We're picking up now in chapter 31 of the book of Jasher, page 354. And last time we were here, one of the main things that happened was Yaakov had to serve 7 years in order to receive Rachel as a woman, but he was actually coming up, we're going to find out he's going to be deceived and given Leah in place of Rachel, and then he's going to have to serve 7 more years labor just to get Rachel. Okay, so that's where we're heading. Okay, chapter 31, page 354, book of Jasher in Sefer. And in the 7th year, Yaakov's service which he served Laban was completed. And Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my woman, for the days of my service are fulfilled. And Laban did so. And Laban and Yaakov assembled all the people of that place, and they made a feast. And in the evening Laban came to the house, and afterward Yaakov came there with the people of the feast, and Laban extinguished all the lights that were there in the house. And Yaakov said unto Laban, Wherefore do you do this thing unto us? And Laban answered, Such is our custom to act in this land. And afterward Laban took his daughter Leah, and he brought her to Yaakov, and he came to her, and Yaakov did not know that she was Leah. And Laban gave his daughter Leah, his maid, Zilpah, for a handmaid. And all the people at the feast knew what Laban had done to Yaakov, but they did not tell the thing to Yaakov. And all the neighbors came that night to Yaakov's home, and they ate and drank and rejoiced, and played before Leah upon timbrels, and with dances, and they responded before Yaakov, Heliah, Heliah. And Yaakov heard their words, but did not understand their meaning, but he thought such might be their custom in this land. And the neighbors spoke these words before Yaakov during the night, and all the lights that were in the house Laban had that night extinguished. And in the morning when daylight appeared, Yaakov turned to his woman, and he saw, and behold, it was Leah, that he had been lying in his bosom. And Yaakov said, Behold, now I know what the neighbors said last night. Heliah, they said, and I knew it not. And Yaakov called unto Laban, and said unto him, What is this that you did unto me? Surely I served you for Rachel. And why did you deceive me and give me Leah? And Laban answered Yaakov, saying, Not so is it done in our place to give the younger before the elder. Now therefore, if you desire to take her sister likewise, take her unto you for the service which you will serve me for another 7 years. And Yaakov did so, and he also took Rachel for a woman, and he served Laban 7 years more. And Yaakov also came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. And Laban gave his maid Bilhah for a handmaid. Laban gave her his maid Bilhah for a handmaid. And when Yahuwah saw that Leah was hated, Yahuwah opened her womb, and she conceived and bore Yaakov 4 sons in those days. And these are the names: Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda, or Reuben, Simon, Levi, and Judah. And she afterward left bearing. And at that time Rachel was barren, and she had no offspring. And Rachel envied her sister Leah. And when Rachel saw that she bore no children to Yaakov, he took her handmaid Bilhah, and she bore Yaakov 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she also took her handmaid Zilpah, and gave her to Yaakov for a woman. And Yaakov also came to Zilpah, and she also bore Yaakov 2 sons, Gad and Asher. And Leah again conceived and bore Yaakov in those days 2 sons and 1 daughter, and these are their names: Issachar, Zebulun, and their sister Dinah. And Rachel was still barren in those days. And Rachel prayed unto Yahuwah at that time, and she said, O Yahuwah Elohim, remember me and visit me, I beseech you, for now my man will cast me off, for I have borne him no children. Now, O Yahuwah Elohim, hear my supplication before you, and see my affliction, and give me children like one of the handmaids, that I may no more bear my reproach. And Elohim heard her, and opened her womb, and Rachel conceived and bore a son, and she said, Yahuwah has taken away my reproach, and she called his name Yosef, saying, May Yahuwah add to me another son. And Yaakov was 91 years old when she bore him. At that time, Yaakov's mother, Rivkah, sent her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Utz, and two of Isak's servants unto Yaakov. And they came to Yaakov to Haran, and they said unto him, Rivkah has sent us to you, that you shall return to your father's house to the land of Canaan. And Yaakov hearkened unto them in this which his mother had spoken. At that time, the other 7 years which Yaakov served Laban for Rachel were completed. And it was at the end of 14 years that he had dwelt in Haran, that Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my women, and send me away, that I may go to my land, for behold, my mother did send unto me from the land at Canaan, that I should return to my father's house. And Laban said unto him, Not so, I pray you, if I have found favor in your sight, do not leave me. Appoint me your wages, and I will give them, and remain with me. And Yaakov said unto him, This is what you shall give me for wages, that I shall this day pass through all your flock, and take away from them every lamb that is speckled and spotted, and such as are brown, amongst the sheep and amongst the goats. And if you will do this thing for me, I will return and feed your flock, and keep them as at first. And Laban did so, and Laban removed from his flock all that Yaakov had said, and gave them to him. And Yaakov placed all that he had removed from Laban's flock in the hands of his sons, and Yaakov was feeding the remainder of Laban's flock. And when the servants of Isaac, which had sent unto Yaakov, saw that Yaakov would not then return with them to the land of Canaan to his father, they then went away from him, and they returned home to the land of Canaan. And Deborah remained with Yaakov in Haran, and she did not return with the servants of Isaac to the land of Canaan. And Deborah resided with Yaakov's women and children in Haran. And Yaakov served Laban 6 years longer. And when the sheep brought forth, Yaakov removed from them such as were speckled and spotted, as he had determined with Laban. And Yaakov did so at Laban's for 6 years. And the man increased abundantly, and he had cattle and maidservants and men servants, camels and asses. And Yaakov had 200 drove of cattle, and his cattle were of large size and of beautiful appearance, and were very productive. And all the families of the sons of men desired to get some of the cattle of Yaakov, for they were exceedingly prosperous. And many of the sons of men came to procure some of Yaakov's flock. And Yaakov gave them a sheep for a manservant, or a maidservant, or for an ass, or a camel, or whatsoever Yaakov desired from them they give him. And Yaakov obtained riches and honor and possessions by means of these transactions with the sons of men, and the children of Laban envied him of his honor, of this honor. And in the course of time he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Yaakov has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's has he acquired all his glory. And Yaakov beheld the countenance of Laban and of his children, and behold, it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. And Yahuwah appeared to Yaakov at the expiration of the 6 years, and said unto him, Arise, go forth out of this land, and return to the land of your birthplace, and I will be with you. And Yaakov rose up at that time, and he mounted his children and women, and all belonging to him, upon camels, and he went forth to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. And Laban did not know that Yaakov had gone from him, for Laban had been that day sheep shearing. And Rachel stole her father's images, and she took them and concealed them upon the camel which she sat, and she went on. And this is the manner of the images. In taking a man who is the firstborn and slaying him, and taking the hair off his head, and taking salt, and salting the head and anointing it in oil, then taking a small tablet of copper or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, and taking the head with the tablet under the tongue, and putting it in the house, and lighting up lights before it, and bowing down to it. And at the time when they bow down to it, it speaks to them in all matters that they ask of it, through the power of the name which is written in it. And some make them in the figures of men, of gold and silver, and go to them in times known to them. And the figures receive the influence of the stars, and tell them future things. And in this manner were the images which Rachel stole from her father. And Rachel stole these images which were her father's, in order that Laban might not know through them where Yaakov had gone. And Laban came home, and he asked concerning Yaakov and his household, and he was not to be found. And Laban sought his images. Laban sought his images to know where Yaakov had gone, and could not find them. And he went to some other images, and he inquired of them, and they told him that Yaakov had fled from him to his fathers, to the land of Canaan. And Laban then rose up, and he took his brothers and all his servants, and he went forth and pursued Yaakov, and he overtook him in Mount Gilead. And Laban said unto Yaakov, What is this you have done to me, to flee and deceive me, and lead my daughters and their children as captives taken by the sword? And you did not suffer me to kiss them and send them away with joy, and you did steal my Elohim, and did go away. And Yaakov answered Laban, saying, Because I was afraid lest you would take your daughters by force from me, and now with whomsoever you find your Elohim, he shall die. And Laban searched for the images, and he examined in all Yaakov's tents and furniture, but could not find them. And Laban said unto Yaakov, We will make a covenant together, that it shall be a testimony between me and you, if you shall afflict my daughters, or shall take other women besides my daughters, even Elohim shall be a witness between me and you in this matter. And they took stones and made a heap. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and you. Therefore he called the name thereof Gilead. And Yaakov and Laban offered sacrifice upon the mount, and they ate there by the heap, and they tarried in the mount all night. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and he wept with his daughters, and he kissed them, and he returned unto his place. And he hastened and sent off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Avichoroph, the son of Utz, the son of Nachor. And with them were 10 men. And they hastened and went and passed on the road before Yaakov, and they came by another road to the land of Seir. And they came unto Esau, and said unto him, Thus says your brother and relative, your mother's brother Laban, the son of Bethuel, saying, Have you heard what Yaakov your brother has done unto me, who first came to me naked and bare? And I went to meet him, and brought him to my house with honor, and I made him great, and I gave him my 2 daughters for women, and also 2 of my maids. And Elohim blessed him on my account, and he increased abundantly, and had sons and daughters and maidservants. He had also an immense stock of flocks and herds, camels and asses, also silver and gold in abundance. And when he saw that his wealth increased, he left me while I went to shear my sheep, and he rose up and fled in secrecy. And he lifted his women and children upon camels, and he led away all his cattle and property, which he acquired in my land. And he lifted up his countenance to go to his father Isaac, to the land of Canaan. And he did not suffer me to kiss my daughters and their children. And he led my daughters as captives taken by the sword. And he also stole my Elohim, and he fled. And now I have left him in the mountain of the brook of Jabbok, him and all belonging to him. He lacks nothing. If it be your wish to go to him, go then, and there will you find him, and you can do unto him as your soul desires. And Laban's messengers came and told Esau all these things. And Esau heard all the words of Laban's messengers, and his anger was greatly kindled against Jacob. And he remembered his hatred, and his anger burned within him. And Esau hastened and took his children and servants, and the souls of his household, being 60 men, and he went and assembled all the children of Seir, the Kori, and their people, being 340 men, and took all this number of 400 men with drawn swords, and he went unto Jacob to smite him. And Esau divided this number into several parts. And he took the 60 men of his children and servants, and the souls of his household, as one head, and gave them in care of Eliphaz, his eldest son. And the remaining heads he gave to the care of the 6 sons of Seir the Chori, and he placed every man over his generation and children. And the whole of this camp went as it was, and Esau went amongst them toward Jacob, and he conducted them with speed. And Laban's messengers departed from Esau, and went to the land of Canaan, and they came to the house of Rivkah, the mother of Jacob and Esau, and they told her, saying, Behold, your son Esau has gone against his brother Jacob with 400 men, for he heard that he was coming, and he has gone to make war with him, and to smite him, and to take all that he has. And Rivkah hastened and sent 72 men from the servants of Isaac to meet Jacob on the road, for she said, Peradventure Esau may make war in the road where he meets him. And those messengers went on the road to meet Jacob, and they met him in the road of the brook on the opposite side of the brook Jabbok. And Jacob said, when he saw them, This camp is destined to me from Elohim. And Jacob called the name of that place Machnaim. And Jacob knew all his father's people, and he kissed them and embraced them and came with them. And Jacob asked them concerning his father and mother, and they said they were well. And these messengers said unto Jacob, Rivkah, your mother, has sent us to you, saying, I have heard, my son, that your brother Esau has gone forth against you on the road with men from the children of Seir the Kori. And therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and see with your counsel what you will do. And when he comes up to you, supplicate him, and do not speak rashly to him, and give him a present from what you possess, and from what Elohim has favored you with. And when he asks you concerning your affairs, conceal nothing from him. Perhaps he may turn from his anger against you, and you will thereby save your soul, you and all belonging to you, for it is your duty to honor him, for he is your elder brother. And when Jacob heard the words of his mother, which the messengers had spoken to him, Jacob lifted up his voice and wept bitterly, and did as his mother then commanded him. And then coming up here, we've got Jacob sends a message of peace to his brother, who rejects it with contempt and advances to destroy him. Hosts of angels cause the fear of Jacob to come upon Esau, and he goes to meet him in peace in answer to Jacob's prayer. Jacob wrestles with an angel of Yehusha. Okay, chapter 32, page 357, Jasher. And continuing. And at that time, Jacob sent messengers to his brother Esau toward the land of Seir, and he spoke to him words of supplication. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye say to my lord, to Esau, Thus says your servant Jacob, Let not my Lord imagine that my father's blessing with which he did bless me has proved beneficial to me, for I have been these 20 years with Laban, and he deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, as it has all been already told unto my Lord. And I served him in his house very laboriously. And Elohim afterward saw my affliction, my labor, and the work of my hands, and he caused me to find grace and favor in his sight. And I afterward, through Elohim's great mercy and kindness, acquired oxen, and asses and cattle, and men servants and maid servants. And now I am coming to my land and my home, to my father and mother, who are in the land of Canaan, and I have sent to let my Lord know all this, in order to find favor in the sight of my Lord, so that he may not imagine that I have of myself obtained wealth, or that the blessing with which my father blessed me has benefited me. And those messengers went to Esau and found him on the borders of the land of Edom, going toward Jacob, and 400 men of the children of Seir and Kori were standing with drawn swords. And the messengers of Jacob told Esau all the words that Jacob had spoken to them concerning Esau. And Esau answered them with pride and contempt, and said unto them, Surely I have heard, and truly it has been told unto me what Jacob has done to Laban, who exalted him in his house and gave him his daughters for women. And he begat sons and daughters, and abundantly increased in wealth and riches in Laban's house through his means. And when he saw that his wealth was abundant and his riches great, he fled with all belonging to him from Laban's house, and he led Laban's daughters away from the face of their father, as captives taken by the sword, without telling him of it. And not only to Laban has Jacob done thus, but also unto me has he done so, and has twice supplanted me. And shall I be silent? Now therefore I have this day come with my camps to meet him, and I will do unto him according to my desire, to the desire of my heart. And the messengers returned and came to Jacob, and said unto him, We came to your brother, to Esau, and we told him all your words, and thus has he answered us. And behold, he comes to meet you with 400 men. Now then, know and see what you shall do, and pray before Elohim to deliver you from him. And when he heard the words of his brother, which he had spoken to the messengers of Jacob, Jacob was greatly afraid, and he was distressed. And Jacob prayed to Yahuwah Eloahu, and he said, O Yahuwah Elohim of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, you did say unto me when I went away from my father's house, saying, I am Yahuwah Elohim of your father Abraham, and the Elohim of Isaac. Unto you do I give this land and your seed after you, and I will make your seed as the stars of heaven. And you shall spread forth to the 4 sides of heaven, and in you and in your seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And you did establish your words, and did give unto me riches and children and cattle, as the utmost wishes of my heart did you give unto your servant. You did give unto me all that I asked from you, so that I lacked nothing. And you did afterwards say unto me, Return to your parents and to your birthplace, and I will return to your birthplace, and I will still do well with you. And now that I have come, and you did not, now that I have come, and you did deliver me from Laban, I shall fall in the hands of Esau, who will slay me. You, yea, together with the mothers of my children. Now therefore, O Yahuwah Elohim, deliver me, I pray you, also from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am greatly afraid of him. And if there is no righteousness in me, do it for the sake of Abraham and my father Isaac. For I know that through kindness and mercy have I acquired this wealth. Now therefore I beseech you to deliver me this day with your kindness, and to answer me. And Jacob ceased praying to Yahuwah, and he divided the people that were with him with the flocks and cattle into 2 camps, and he gave the half to the care of Damasek, the son of Eleazar, Abraham's servant, for a camp, with his children, and the other half he gave to the care of his brother Elianuk, the son of Eleazar, to be for a camp with his children. And he commanded them, saying, keep yourselves at a distance with your camps, and do not come too near each other. And if Esau come to one camp and slay it, the other camp at a distance from it will escape him. And Yaakov tarried there that night, and during the whole night he gave his servants instructions concerning the forces and his children. And Yehua heard the prayer of Yaakov on that day, and Yehua then delivered Yaakov from the hands of his brother Esau. And Yehua sent 3 angels of the angels of heaven, and they went before Esau and came to him. And these angels appeared unto Esau and his people as 2,000 men riding upon horses furnished with all sorts of war instruments. And they appeared in the sight of Esau and all his men to be divided into 4 camps with 4 chiefs to them. And one camp went on, and they found Esau coming with 400 men toward his brother Yaakov. And this camp ran toward Esau and his people and terrified them. And Esau fell off the horse in alarm, and all his men separated from him in that place, for they were greatly afraid. And the whole of the camp shouted after them when they fled from Esau. And all the warlike men answered, saying, surely we are the servants of Yaakov, who is the servant of Elohim. And who then can stand against us? And Esau said unto them, O then my lord and brother Yaakov is your lord, whom I have not seen for these 20 years. And now that I have this day come to see him, do you treat me in this manner? And the angels answered him, saying, as Yahuwah lives, were not Yaakov, of whom you speak, your brother? We had not let one remaining from you and your people, but only on account of Yaakov we will do nothing to them. And this camp passed from Esau and his men, and it went away. And Esau and his men had gone from them about a league, when the second camp came toward him with all sorts of weapons, and they also did unto Esau and his men as the first camp had done to them. And when they had left it to go on, behold, the third camp came toward him, and they were all terrified. And Esau fell off the horse, and the whole camp cried out and said, surely we are the servants of Yaakov, who is the servant of Elohim, and who can stand against us? And Esau again answered them, saying, O then, Yaakov my lord, and your lord is my brother, and for 20 years I have not seen his countenance, and hearing this day that he was coming, I went this day to meet him. And do you treat me in this manner? And they answered him and said unto him, as Yahuwah lives, were not Yaakov your brother, as you did say, we had not left a remnant from you and your men. But on account of Yaakov, of whom you speak, being your brother, we will not meddle with you or your men. And the third camp also passed from them, and he still continued his road with his men toward Yaakov. When the fourth camp came toward him, and they also did unto him and his men as the others had done. And when Esau beheld the evil which the 4 angels had done to him and to his men, he became greatly afraid of his brother Yaakov, and he went to meet him in peace. And Esau concealed his hatred against Yaakov, because he was afraid of his life on account of his brother Yaakov, and because he imagined that the 4 camps that he had lighted upon were Yaakov's servants. And Yaakov tarried that night with his servants in their camps. And he resolved with his servants to give unto Esau a present from all that he had with him, and from all his property. And Yaakov rose up in the morning, he and his men, and they chose from amongst the cattle a present for Esau. And this is the amount of the present which Yaakov chose from the flock to give unto his brother Esau. And he selected 240 head from the flocks. And he selected from the camels and asses 30 each. And of the herds he chose 50 kine. And he put them all in 10 droves, and he placed each sort by itself, And he delivered them into the hands of 10 of his servants, each drove by itself. And he commanded them and said unto them, Keep yourselves at a distance from each other, and put a space between the droves. And when Esau and those who are with him shall meet you and ask you, saying, Whose are you, and whither do you go, and to whom belongs all this before you? You shall say unto them, We are the servants of Jacob, and we come to meet Esau in peace. And behold, Jacob comes behind us, and that which is before us is a present sent from Jacob to his brother Esau. And if they shall say unto you, Why does he delay behind you from coming to meet his brother and to see his face? Then you shall say unto them, Surely he comes joyfully behind us to meet his brother. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes to him, and after this I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. So the whole present passed on in the hands of his servants, and went before him on that day. And he lodged that night with his camps by the border of the brook of Jabbok. And he rose up in the midst of the night, and he took his women, and his maidservants, and all belonging to him. And he that night passed them over the ford Jabbok. And when he passed all belonging to him over the brook, Jacob was left by himself, and a man met him. And he wrestled with him that night until the breaking of the day. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint through wrestling with him. And at the break of day, the man left Jacob there, and he blessed him and went away. And Jacob passed the brook at the break of day, and he halted upon his thigh. And the sun rose upon him when he had passed the brook, and he came up to the place of his cattle and children. And they went on till midday, and while they were going, the present was passing on before them. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was at a distance, coming along with many men, about 400, and Jacob was greatly afraid of his brother. And Jacob hastened and divided his children unto his women and his handmaids, and his daughter Dinah he put in a chest, and delivered her into the hands of his servants. And he passed before his children and women to meet his brother, and he bowed down to the ground. Yea, he bowed down 7 times until he approached his brother. And Elohim caused Jacob to find grace and favor in the sight of Esau and his men, for Elohim had heard the prayer of Jacob. And the fear of Jacob and his terror fell upon his brother Esau, for Esau was greatly afraid of Jacob, for what the angels of Elohim had done to Esau. And Esau's anger against Jacob was turned into kindness. And when Esau saw Jacob running toward him, he also ran toward him, and he embraced him, and he fell upon his neck, and they kissed and they wept. And Elohim put fear and kindness toward Jacob in the hearts of the men that came with Esau, and they also kissed Jacob and embraced him. And also Eliphaz, the son of Esau, with his 4 brothers, sons of Esau, wept with Jacob, and they kissed him and embraced him, for the fear of Jacob had fallen upon them all. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women with their offspring, the children of Jacob, walking behind Jacob and bowing along the road to Esau. And Esau said unto Jacob, Who are these with you, my brother? Are they your children or your servants? And Jacob answered Esau and said, They are my children, which Elohim has graciously given to your servant. And while Jacob was speaking to Esau and his men, Esau beheld the whole camp, and said unto Jacob, Whence did you get the whole of the camp that I met yesternight? And Jacob said, To find favor in the sight of my Lord. It is that which Elohim graciously gave to your servant. And the present came before Esau, and Jacob pressed Esau, saying, Take, I pray you, the present that I have brought to my Lord. And Esau said, Wherefore is this my purpose? Keep that which you have unto yourself. And Jacob said, It is incumbent upon me to give all this, since I have seen your face, and you still live in peace. And Esau refused to take the present. And Jacob said unto him, I beseech you, my lord, if now I have found favor in your sight, then receive my present at my hand, for I have therefore seen your face. as though I had seen an Elohim-like face, because you were pleased with me. And Esau took the present, and Jacob also gave unto Esau silver and gold and bdellium, for he pressed him so much that he took them. And Esau divided the cattle that were in the camp, and he gave the half to the men who had come with him, and they had come on hire, and the other half he delivered unto the hands of his children. And the silver and gold and bdellium he gave in the hands of Eliphaz, his eldest son. And Esau said unto Jacob, Let us remain with you, and we will go slowly along with you until you come to my place with me, that we may dwell there together. And Jacob answered his brother and said, I would do as my Lord speaks unto me, but my Lord knows that my children are tender, and the flocks and herds with their young who are with me go but slowly. For if they went swiftly, they would all die. For you know their burdens and their fatigue. Therefore let my Lord pass on before his servant, and I will go on slowly for the sake of the children and the flock, until I come to my Lord's place to Seir. And Esau said to Jacob, I will place with you some of the people that are with me to take care of you in the road, and to bear your fatigue and burden. He said, What needs it, my Lord, if may find grace in your sight? Behold, I will come unto you to Seir to dwell there together as you have spoken. Go you then with your children, for I will follow you. And Jacob said to Esau, in order to remove Esau and his men from him. And Jacob said this to Esau, in order to remove Esau and his men from him, so that Jacob might afterward go to his father's house to the land of Canaan. And Esau hearkened to the voice of Jacob, and Esau returned with the 400 men that were with him, and on their road to Seir, and Jacob and all belonging to him went that way as far as the extremity of the land of Canaan and its borders, and he remained there some time. Okay, so coming up, we got Jacob goes to Shechem. Prince Shechem defiles Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and then Shechem desires her for a woman. So that's coming up in chapter 33. So our next lesson is going to be chapter 33, page 360. I'll just write next lesson on here. All right, well, I want to thank you very much for coming here and listening, reading along with me. Father, bless us all. We're all trying to do something good here, hearing your word. We love you so much, Yahuwah. Please cover all of us in your loving hands. Protect us from our enemies. Heal our enemies so they don't have hatred toward us. And answer our prayers. Be with all of us 24 hours a day, and use us to glorify you. Yehusha, we love you. We pray in your name. Amen. This is Yehusha's Glory.